90s, my sister picked up an album that would change my life. It was called Wu-Tang Forever.
Yes.
Yep. And Triumph is like my favorite song. By Inspector Deck, his verse is like phenomenal because he doesn't use a single curse word in it, and it's amazing. It's like one of the best verses in all of music, I think. Anywho, a couple years later, I was doing an apprenticeship out in Los Angeles with my favorite horror director, and I'll share that story next month in October of who it was. But anywho, he was known for Hellraiser. I'll just say that. So anywho, during the last week of my summer internship at that time, I went to a show at the House of Blues when it was still around, and it was Method Man, Redman, and Ghostface Killah. Legendary show. And I go there for the first show because I thought that was the only one that I can afford. It was all ages. And so I go there and I dress up in my Method Man shirt, and I was waiting for my car. Some guy noticed. It was like a Method Man's merch man. And he goes, "We haven't sold that shirt in like years. Do you want to come in to the next show? It's like at 10:30, and like I'll give you a VIP bracelet." I'm like, "Sure, why not? I'll stay for the next show." So I did, and I got VIP treatment. I went up to the balcony, and I see Cat Williams up there, the comedian, and he's passing out Dom Perignon to everybody, and I kindly declined because I don't drink. So there goes my Dom Perignon, and I knew how expensive that was. So I go there, and I go outside, and I wait for my car, and this guy sees me in the same Wu-Tang shirt, says the same thing, and he goes, who are you? Where are you from? What are you doing out here? I'm like, "I'm Clyde's apprentice. I'm here just for the summer. I don't sound like I'm from California." He goes, "I didn't think so." He goes, "I'm Arbel. I'm Jizz's artist." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And it's Smoke and Mirrors, right? Now, Jizz is one of the members of the Wu-Tang Clan, if you guys don't know. And so I said, he knocks on my window, he goes, "Here's my number, you gotta collaborate on something." I'm like, "All right." So he calls me over the weekend, and I'm at Barnes & Noble, and sure enough, I hear the RZA's voice in there. And I'm like, this is pretty wild. So we collaborated, and I said, "All right, Wednesday, meet up at Clive's place with me, and we'll see if we can make something work." They fell apart. They had to reschedule. And so I said, "All right, Friday's my last day in LA before I gotta go back to Colorado." And so, sure enough, RZA pulls up in an SUV at Clive's place, and I'm like, "This is nuts," you know? And then, my buddies that I met at the show, they pull up too. "This is nuts." So I give them a grand tour of Clive's studio, and I pointed out how I organized Clive's comic books because he has this massive collection. I put everything in alphabetical order, and there was some Wu-Tang comic books, and RZA looked at him, he goes, "Man, this is dope." He goes, like, "Hellraiser 2 scared the crap out of me." I'm like, "Yeah, it scared me too." And so, the following year, I didn't know what to be for Halloween, and so I continued my apprenticeship out there, and his special effects makeup artist goes, "Why don't you be Wu Man?" I'm like, "That sounds too much like a woman." You know? We're close to West Hollywood, let's not go there. So I became Wu Manchu, like Fu Manchu.
Nice.
And so it stuck, and so I started cutting up their logos, and got some fabric from Hobby Lobby or whatever, and pieced together this outfit, and this is half of it right here, and I got a Jason Voorhees mask because of
Nice.
Yeah. My buddy Rick from 13X Studios made this for me, so that was pretty rad.
Sweet.
And here's the Florida cape that's I printed at some kind of shop back in Colorado, but the one that I glued together is back home in Florida. But I usually wear this during the conventions and stuff like that. But anywho, whenever I go to horror conventions and comic book conventions, everyone goes nuts. There's so many Supermans and so many Jokers and Batmans just running around here, and you're like the only Wu-Tang superhero, we really have to take a photo with you.
Nice.
So I get stopped every like 5 minutes and just like 50 photo ops and like tag me on Instagram and Twitter or whatever you got, and like people just go nuts for it. And I'm like, this is pretty wild. During my final stay at Clive's place, I went to the midnight premiere of The Man with the Iron Fist, which is Riz's movie. And I went there, and it just like people just went nuts for me. Like I walked down to the stairs, the PR folks and the marketing people from Universal were there, and like all the paparazzi's photo like cameras just went off, and I'm like, this is pretty wild, you know. And for my 30th birthday, I did a parade with like I was dressed as Wu Manchu, and like was walking around with all the superheroes and like all those crazy people on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was a lot of fun. People tried to tip me, but I was like trying not to accept their money. I'm like, I'm not that desperate like these other superheroes. But yeah, I'm a journalist too, and so like you know, Superman's a journalist, and like you know, Spider-Man's a journalist. You know, we need someone in real life. You know, so I have a Twitter that has like 3,000 followers on there, and I call myself Darker. You know, because I'm not Clark. I'm dark. I'm not Parker, I'm darker, I'm darker. You know, and so I put, you know, like superheroes make the, you know, the best, like journalists make the best superheroes, you know, so I thought, well, those are my favorite superheroes, especially Spider-Man. He has some of the best movies, I think, out of all the superheroes. But I don't know how long it went, but that's the story of how I met the Wu-Tang Clan. I met Method Man too, and Capadon, and Spectre Deck, Raekwon, U-God, and gosh, Jizzy has a free concert at the St. Augustine Amphitheater in the back. And you gotta check out their shows of Mike's and Men on Showtime. And you gotta, it's a documentary. It's like a 4-part documentary. And they have the miniseries on Hulu at the moment streaming. So there's, the first 4 episodes are out, and all the episodes come out every Wednesday. So check out for that too. So that's my story with the Wu-Tang Clan and all that crazy stuff. So thanks for listening to my story.